Good morning, all. Janice, would you take roll call, please?
President Davidson,
Present.
Vice President Ricketts,
Present.
Secretary Kincaid, present. Treasurer Hahn, absent. Director Argot,
Present.
Director Hector, absent. Director Lynch,
Present.
Director Sauvé,
Present.
Director Setzer,
Here.
and you have a quorum.
Thank you. Then I'll call the meeting to order. Please rise for pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the June 4th board draft minute meetings. May I have a motion for approval of those?
So moved.
Thank you, Liz. A second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the June 4th board minutes are approved. I also have the approval for the June 18th emergency board meeting. May I have a motion to approve those?
Make a motion.
Thank you, Ryan. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the June 18th emergency board meeting minutes are approved. To take us into management reports, first of all, I apologize. The board has received a submittal from First Service Residential from Keith Wilking. We will accept those minutes or report as given to us and will be contained as part of the minutes. Unfortunately, yesterday morning on his way to work, Keith was involved in an automobile accident. He is fine, he is home, but he's very sore. He couldn't make it in today. I told him to stay home, take it easy. He's taking his car, it may be totaled, he's not sure. He was rear-ended by a postal truck. So I told him, don't worry, we'll accept his report. If the board has any questions regarding the report or have any questions for First Service, I'm quite sure either Ma Bell or Ryan can answer those questions. Hearing no questions, we will accept Keith's First Services report as presented, and Ma Bell, you'll attach it to the minutes when you put them online, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. That will turn it over to Vesta for their manager report.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. We'll start off with our club usage. As the board will see, that number is oddly small. And it's because, as you know, it's just the South Club in 2020. Since reopening, we have the scanners at the South Club in 2020. But this beast of a building, we can no longer force the flow through one single point of entry upon reopening for the membership's interest or knowledge. We are talking to the board about proposing the installation of RFID readers at certain points so we can continue the practice of being able to make sure everybody who comes into the clubs are legit and they have their ID and they scan it when they walk in. So those numbers will look a little wonky for a while there, but I continued them just because that's valuable information. Fitness center, you can see there we have still continued climbing, which is very unusual for June and July. Most of you have been out and about and know that the world is just happy to be able to do stuff, and there's activity in restaurants and fitness and stores and everything. And these numbers also represent that. Land class attendance almost doubled over the prior month. the spa and salon. Nice number there, it's a couple hundred off of what was actually budgeted when we made that budget last year during COVID and had no idea what the world would look like, I'm sorry. And this also, we have struggled to replace our very popular massage therapist. So if we had had that service going on, which is a very popular service, we'd be kicking you know what on that number. So that's really exciting news for the team. On food and beverage, you can see there almost 6,400 patrons served in June. 14% of that continues to be a very popular Portico pickup program. And there you can see the sales for June over 103,000. Kudos to Andrew and Chris and the team. That's 14% favorable to plan. Again, when we made that budget, not knowing what the world looked like, we were pretty reasonable with it, not too conservative whatsoever, so the usage continues down there, and we're pleased with the participation. In the projects, we got a couple dangling participles hanging over from 2021. The surveillance program, this program is, I mean, it's all installed, the cabling's done. I believe they're just working on the software programming and integration, and that technical kind of stuff, I guess, is taking a while. The theater sound system project is completed. I know the membership meeting was in there, and you were still tweaking some of the microphones and things like that, but Scott is in the back, Scott Burgach. He has been reassigned up here, and he will be working on the theater and becoming an expert on that sound system going forward. Victoria has some new contacts she's working on with the ever-present moisture intrusion testing program. On 21-22 projects, the South Club roof replacement is underway, hopefully by the end of the month, weather permitting, and if Elsa stays away. So we've got some, looks like rain coming our way with this storm. The deck expansion, we have internally revised the architect's proposed plans for the food and beverage, and we sent them back for revisions, awaiting them to be returned. So we are slowly approaching what's called the finished selection stage, and once those plans are finalized, we will submit for permitting approval and RFP. We continue to keep the board informed every step of the way on this project. So as those pieces of the puzzle come together, we'll keep you all updated. Catering kitchen tile floor was replaced and much safer surface in there, not so slick anymore. Jubilee partition door replacement is underway. The doors are being manufactured. They have an estimated lead time of 6 to 8 weeks, which seems crazy, but the entire construction industry is experiencing delays in products and with labor challenges. Subsequently, the installation of those doors will be planned for the end of August. In preparation for the new doors, the new tracks have been installed, along with the demolition and removal of the old doors. The floor replacement project has begun with demolition and removal of the existing wood in that room, and the interior painting will follow that. So everything about Jubilee is basically being, it's 21 years old, so that will be a brand new, beautiful special event room once it's finished. Replacement of the 25-ton HVAC unit is in process, and that will be pending the finish of the roof down there, right? They want to get the roof done before they install that. Switching gears to special event information, you can see there's a lot of bullet points here. I'll just briefly go through them. Matthew could not be here today, so I'll share these with you for him and his team. Again, people are coming out. We've got movies coming out. We had 350 tickets sold for the first one. The next one is on July 6th. The monthly dinners have returned. We have the long-running Queen's Luncheon scheduled for July 7th in Veterans Theater. The winter series has been finalized and the brochure is almost finished. We will be getting that information out to initially the previous season ticket holders and series subscribers, and then those go open to the rest of the community. This is new. We've partnered with Advent Health to bring a mobile mammogram unit on site August 30th. Very positive response. I think they filled all the time slots very quickly there, which is exciting news, and we're working to see if they can open up some more times there and get them here again. Based on the success of the mobile mammogram unit, we also partnered with Sertoma Speech and Hearing. That's a non-profit organization to bring in their hearing clinic here. And we're also working on spot dermatology to bring in a mobile medical vehicle with some exam rooms. So this is just a nice benefit to have them pull up in the community, and folks that are maybe not so mobile or can't get out have the opportunity to get some of these screenings done. Bus trips, same story. And it's a good story. They're selling extremely well. And then finally, the July 13th Disaster Preparedness Seminar has 275 reservations. Oops, there's a typo there, sorry about that. With 2 weeks remaining until the event. So lots of activity, and we're grateful again that so many people are interested in coming out and participating. Just gate security, we'll skip down. Again, passes issued 13,000 for the month of June. I don't know if we've ever seen that number for June. That's just crazy stuff. And finally, a daughter of a resident called security at 7 p.m. asking for a welfare check. They dispatched an officer. All the doors were locked, no answer. The neighbor came over and he was concerned as well, hadn't seen the neighbor for a while. Security called the daughter back, and the daughter gave them information about how to get in the house through the garage door. Still unable to enter the phone, they called 911, and HCSO arrived and found the lady face down. She was conscious, but they transported her, and we're very grateful again for those kind of calls that we can get in there and help somebody before things get worse. That's my report. I hope everybody has a relaxing and safe 4th. Enjoy your holiday.
I'm going to have a couple questions for you. Because we do have presidents and residents in attendance. I know that you have spoken to the board about reopening Le Perk Cafe and reopening Refresh. Do you have update on the approximate date you expect those to open?
I believe it's August 1st, 2nd. Oh, it's 2nd. I'm getting my fingers back.
Okay, so we expect to have Refresh, which is in the 2020 building, and the Perk Cafe opened up. There will be changes, and Vesta will be sending out, I presume, the changes in the
yes.
menus and how those
The hours and things.
two things will operate.
Yes.
Am I correct with that?
You are.
Okay, correct. So I just wanted to make sure that as rumors spread in the community that everybody knows that we will be opening Le Perk. Part of the delay is the planning of the hours, the staffing, and the changes, the menus, and how they will operate from that perspective, correct?
Exactly.
The other question I have for you is, and it's just a clarification, you have, and I know there was a question when the board approved it last month, which was the catering tile, floor tile, that is in the south of the catering kitchen, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
because when the agenda was written last month, it said North Club, and we
Oh.
changed it, so.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
just
clarify
wanted-
that.
I just wanted to clarify it as the South Club.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And in your report, you have the Jubilee floor replacement is proceeding.
Yes.
What type of flooring will be placed? Because you're taking up the wood, so what composite type floor will be put into the Jubilee room?
30-millimeter laminate vinyl plank.
30 millimeter laminate vinyl planking. I repeated it for the camera so everybody could hear that.
Okay, so
It's
it's
a
not,
wood look.
it's a wood look, but it is not a wood floor. It's
Much
a
more
laminate.
sustainable, better for moisture, spillage. It's hospitality, commercial grade. I know dancing, all sorts of activities. It's applicable and it's beautiful floor, so I think they'll really appreciate it.
Okay, and I just wanted that one clarification on it. That's the only questions I have. Does the board have any other questions?
I do, I have a couple. This morning, actually, I was asked a couple of questions. I just want you to clarify for us, if you would, on promotions of bus tours for the CA and for Kings Point. Are we promoting both, or are we promoting CA only and Kings Point, and not promoting ours? It looks like the activity's going up, but what are the promotion aspects relative to both CA and Kings Point bus tours?
Do you know if there's a distinction? The Glory Tours trips are Glory Tours,
Right. And then we have the Sun City Travel Club, but
and the Sun City Travel Club, we promote them. Is there any CA specific? I'm
not
not
to
aware
my
of that, no.
knowledge.
All right, great, thank you.
If you've seen something, I'm not quite sure what the question is.
Are the Sun City Travel Club tours in our bus book? Is I think what he wanted to know.
No, they are not.
They are not. So how do we in Kings Point find out about the Sun City? Because they sell the tickets here in our lobby.
They do.
How do we find out about what tours they have going on?
They do have their brochures that you can pick up from them, or you can find them online.
She's saying they're brochures or online?
So in answer to your question, no, we are not advertising the Sun City Travel Club's tours.
In our bus book?
And I think the question that was being asked of me this morning was, but we make sure we're promoting the Kings Point.
The Kings Point are all in the bus book, yes.
Okay, all right, very good.
Do they sell our tickets?
No.
But we sell theirs.
Yes.
That's interesting.
They sell theirs.
They don't
They
sell
come
ours.
here
but
and
we
sell
sell-
them.
They sell theirs.
But in our clubhouse, and we're not selling they're not selling ours over there.
It is not reciprocal as far as selling tickets.
To my knowledge, do you know? They're shaking their heads no.
Can we see why,
Now, keep in mind, when we say our trips, they're Glory Tours. It's a third-party vendor. We don't have any control over that.
I
Glory
understand, but
Tours may
I
advertise
I
over there.
understand that, but if we allow them in our clubhouse to sell the tour tickets, which they are sponsoring,
Mhm.
and we have tour tickets for things
We
we
don't.
are sponsoring.
We're not
We don't.
sponsoring.
So we don't sponsor, it's all CA.
No, it's Glory.
It's a third-party vendor. So the way I would look at it is that it's an opportunity for Kings Point residents, if they don't like the tours that we have in our bus book, that we've made arrangements with Glory Tours, they may like what the CA trips are doing. It doesn't impact the bottom line here, we're not sponsoring it, we're not hosting it, but they have the opportunity to look at what the others are doing. And if they want to go to where those trips are going, great, buy a ticket. If you want to go where the Kings Point bus book advertised trips are going, they can buy one at the box office. So it's an opportunity that they're brought in here.
Do we allow the CA to buy tickets on our bus tours?
Yes.
Yes, anybody can buy,
Okay, then if we allow them to buy tickets on our bus tours.
not ours.
Okay, On the bus tours,
board,
which are in the
yeah,
book, forget whether
yeah.
they're,
Glory Tours allows it, let's put
Okay.
it that way.
then if we allow the CA to come into our clubhouse and sell the tickets, why do they not allow us?
They might.
They might.
Allow Glory Tours.
We just are not over there doing it. Glory Tours may be over there with them.
Can you check on that?
Yes.
Find out?
Yes.
Well, this is an exciting conversation, and I think.
Look what
it's
you
all-
started.
Well, no, I was.
No, it's a matter of
Yeah,
reciprocity.
no, and I think that was the original intent with the question that I was asked. Is there a reciprocity? Are we promoting ours as well as promoting theirs? Is everybody getting a fair opportunity?
Yeah, I think
Are we getting
the hard
fair
part I
shake?
have is ours and theirs. This is just the third-party vendor.
Okay.
What the third-party vendor does over there, we don't
Well,
know.
I think we just check it out and make sure we're good. And Ginger, I spoke to you earlier before we started relative to the other question that I had relative to clubs and the day fee of coming in, visitors coming in, guest passes, and you guys are going to be checking in and looking at how we can make sure that, again, reciprocity and equity is being covered, because when somebody comes in from the outside and does not pay a due or a fee, they are still using our stuff and it's still wearing and tearing. They should do a day rate or whatever. We discussed that already, and you're going to be looking at that, correct?
He's referring to the non-Kings Point club member cards, because Kings Point clubs have the option to have outside participation in their clubs. And when that member comes through the gate, they say, I'm here for the XYZ club. Even though I live over there, I am a member of this club. And so Ryan asked me to we'll probably talk to the RFEC first about looking back at that. Should there be a charge for that card, et cetera? Agreed?
Equity is all I'm looking for.
Yes.
Everybody pays a piece of
Yes.
the.
In other words, folks belong to the club, but they're not paying anything to use the facility or be part of the Kings
Correct.
Point
And
Club.
you thought your report was going to be easy.
Thank you.
No, they're good questions.
Any other questions from the board? Then we will go to committee reports. Does anyone have, I'm going to look at Liz because she is the most involved in the activity regarding the hurricane preparedness and the community team that is working on it. So do you have any update on that for the board?
Well, yes, and there's a hurricane sneaking in about 2 weeks too early. Our symposium is slated for the 13th of July. But I will say to you, at this point in time, all of the pieces are in place. So if this little critter decides to come on, the master has their piece in place, and so does Vesta, and so do we with our insurance companies. So we're ready. I'm not as prepared as we'd like to be for everybody in the community, but we're ready. I would suggest, if you would like to attend the symposium, that you please sign up on Sign Up Genius. Is that what they call it? Okay. And because the seating is limited to 500, and yesterday's count we were pushing 300. So if you, and that includes any member of the community who wants to attend. The opportunity for some of our folks in the CA has been opened up for them to attend. They did not have a symposium, and as I've touted from the very beginning, this is a community adventure, and the squad and CERT is manning it. The squad and Samaritan Services and the radio clubs, et cetera, are all involved, as well as the entities in Kings Point. The team members, of course, are COA, Vesta, the Master, the Federation Board, and First Service Management Company. So we've all been working together and been sending out messages, and there's a couple more things coming your way. So, but we're ready. Hopefully it decides to go somewhere else. Thank you.
Janice, anything on the insurance?
Nope.
Tom, I'll turn it over to you for Landscape Committee.
Yeah, just a brief update on the Landscape Committee. Next week, we don't have a time and a date and a room yet, but we are scheduling a meeting to start working on the RFPs for the landscape for the next contract, which, what is it?
21, 22.
Yeah, 21, 22. Or 22, 23 contract, sorry. So we're trying to get ahead of the games. The last couple of contracts, we were pressed for time, so we're trying to get a little ahead of the game this year.
Barbara, you have anything? Okay. as far as the president report goes, first thing I'd like to do is the chairman of the CPC, that's the Community Promotions Committee, which is Rick Massame, contacted me about having a board liaison member. And Barbara, and I appreciate it, has stepped up to be the liaison between the CPC and the board, so we are aware of what is going on. So Barbara, I am appointing you to be the liaison with Rick and his CPC committee. So every committee at least has a liaison or a member of the board on that committee. So thank you very much. The other thing I'd like to say for all of you who have been praying for rain, would you please stop? I think we have enough. Our ground is well saturated. I know the landscapers are having a little problems are going around, and we don't need the storm to hit us, but I think we've got enough rain and we can stop praying for a while. In regard to that, I had a conversation, just to let the board know, with Jim Ichiro, president of the Master, regarding the holiday events that they are looking to put together. It will be a community effort put together by a community team, which will include First Service, Vesta, the Master, the COA, and the Federation Board. And Jim and I are arranging a meeting amongst the community team to do this. This would include what the Master has designated as a day for the tree lighting and caroling, and also for the Taste of Sun City Center, which in Jim's plans and what we discussed would also include auctions of items. We have already started talking to our vendors for, as the Master has also, and we will probably look at Vesta for some of their big vendors to donate items, as it will be a charity auction benefiting a charity. That charity hasn't been picked yet, but it will be a community organized event working with, between the Federation, the Master, the COA, Vesta, and First Service. The same as Liz put together for the leadership team. We'll do the same thing for the holiday events that the Master had mentioned in their previous meeting. So, Liz, I appreciate that you made the effort and got different members of the community leadership to work together. And we're just going to expand it. And it may not be the exact same people, but it will be a joint effort amongst all the leadership organizations within the community. Did you have something you wanted to add to that?
I was just going to say that it's been a very, very workable group, and everyone has chipped in, and so I'm glad that it's expanding. I think our community needs a kind of an overall community focus. So thanks.
And the last thing I would like to do is wish everyone a very happy and safe 4th of July weekend. As a reminder, First Service is closing at 3 p.m. today. As I believe also the Master will be closing at 3 p.m. today, and they will be closed on Monday. Yesterday, Vesta sent out its notice of what will be open and what would be closed. If you don't get Vesta's notices, please contact Vesta and give them your email address, because they basically give you information on when the North Club, the South Club, the 2020 and Palm Court, and different things will be opened and closed when we get to the holiday season. But from that perspective, just keep in mind that First Service and the Master will be closing at 3 p.m. today and closed on Monday. So if you have any plans or any need for First Service, try and get them done before 3 o'clock today. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait till Tuesday. And that concludes my report. We have no unfinished business. I don't believe we have anything for open forum. and therefore we'll move to new business. And the first item on new business is the
Terry.
I'm sorry, on open forum, you brought up something that I didn't know was going to be on the agenda, and I just want to make a few comments. Okay. This is about the minibus.
Nope.
Nope.
I think it's on now. Yes,
on.
yes.
Okay, this is about the minibus, just that, just for your information. I have, my husband and I do go on the bus tours, and we used to go.
Before you start, would you identify yourself?
Oh, I'm
Your
sorry.
association?
Teresa Galarte, President of Nantucket 4. I'd say about the buses that go from the minibus are filled 1/3 with Kings Point people. And and what happens, and we want to get tickets and things, we have to go over to Sun City Center to get them. And they, as a convenience, since they have so many people from Kings Point going on their bus tours, that's how I think they must have asked for the space, so that it can be convenient for people here not to have to drive over there to get the tickets. Because often when the tickets go on sale, there's big long lines. So now they've divided the days up, so you don't have to stand in line for maybe half hour or so to get your tickets. So that's how I think that they came to be in the lobby here. So just that information.
Okay, thank you very much for providing the additional information on it, Terry. So the first item on the new agenda is the repair and resurfacing of the 4 courts at the South Club. And Ginger, I don't know who, our good friend Roger, we just keep calling on you, Roger. You're involved in so much stuff when it comes to the RFEC, and we very much appreciate it.
Does everyone have a copy of this,
I don't think she turned it off.
Okay, not to, can you hear me? Yes. Good morning. Not to go through this whole thing, because we've gone through this twice now. What we decided was Welch is who we are recommending to do the repairs and the resurfacing of all 4 courts. That includes the multi-purpose court. There's an additional $500 that we're requesting that takes the sod down to the court level, replacing it with gravel so that it actually drains into the storm drain, which it should have done from the onset, but it got, I don't know what happened. Anyway, we have a grand total of $9,225 that we're requesting. We are planning on looking into future use for those courts or something else maybe in the next 2 or 3 years. But that will get us through the next 2 or 3 years, hopefully.
So you're officially requesting $9,225 to resurface those courts?
I am.
Okay. For the board edification and those in attendance, the pickleball courts, along with the multi-purpose court, have developed severe cracks. I'm going to call them severe cracks because they are.
These are tears. These aren't cracks. These are tears.
They are a danger to
Yes.
anybody playing on the court, and we have to be ever mindful that if someone gets injured on those courts due to the disrepair of them, that the land trust could be held liable for them. They have can come to us on a number of occasions, and a lot of it goes, Roger, if I'm correct, it's where the courts are located and how they were originally constructed. And
The water table is what's
The
creating,
water
once we
table is
go into dry season, the water table goes down. Once we go into the wet season, on occasion, we have video of even water seeping up through the crack from the high water table below. To straighten out that whole area would require ripping it up entirely and starting fresh with even a new soil composition.
And the repair of them and resurfacing of them, does it come with a guarantee?
We do not have 2 years, Jack.
Okay, so it does,
Does come with a 1 year on the repair itself, not the court, but
Yeah.
the repair.
and basically, this is a temporary fix?
I'm saying it's a temporary fix, yes.
Okay. Because to replace those courts would be rather expensive.
I'm gonna go north of probably $50,000, $60,000, $70,000.
All right, and there is a demand of the use of those courts by the residents in Kings Point, correct?
That is correct.
So board, have any question of Roger? And may I have a motion on the board to approve the expenditures? And before I ask for that motion, I received a notification from the president of the pickleball club because when the courts are repaired, they would like 2 fans installed on those courts, and we have checked the cost of that. It is a little less than $2,000. And the president of the pickleball court has sent official notification to the Federation board that the pickleball club will be donating the $2,000 for the installation of those fans at the court. So I appreciate the pickleball club stepping up to make that donation. So I would call for a motion to approve the expenditures.
I believe Mr. Ricketts has a question.
Pardon?
With the installation of the fans and the other work that's going on in the south pool area, is that additional amp draw going to have any effect on the electrical circuits?
The power is already there, we're just branching off of
Okay, it's not an issue where we're going to overload circuits and have to,
it. No, sir.
okay, thank you.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the expenditure of $9,225 from the land trust for the repair of the pickleball court? And the only thing, when you make the motion, I would ask that you include in your motion an additional 10% contingency, which we have started doing. So if there is a question comes up, we don't have to come back to the board for an extra $900 for something. So may I have a motion to approve the expenditure of $92.25 plus 10% contingency?
I make a motion to, excuse me, to approve the request to expend $9,430 for repair of the South Club pickleball court and other courts there, with a 10% overage for miscellaneous needs.
Could you restate that figure? Because on here it's $92.25.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong. So, may I amend my motion?
You just want to restate the figure of $92.25.
Yes, I was looking at the wrong paper, I'm sorry. So I would like to amend the motion by amending the amount requested is $9,225 plus a 10% overage for incidentals that may arise.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ginger, you can get the courts, and Victoria, you can get the courts repaired. And I know the pickleball club will be very happy, along with the people who play basketball and utilize that other court for other things down there. Thank you very much, Roger. I can tell you folks that Roger has spent an inordinate amount of time on getting this taken care of and meeting with the people necessary to find out what could be done to those courts. So Roger, thank you very much for the work you've done for the RFC on that. The second item of business is the approval for the replacement of the 5-ton air conditioning unit in the 1904 building. Ginger, are you presenting this, or you're going to make Roger do it again, or who else? Tara?
You want me to do this again?
I I'd be glad to. It was brought to Vesta's attention that the First Services lobby and offices were hot and the thermostat was unable to reach temperature. A contractor was called in to inspect and repair the unit, and upon inspection discovered that the unit was leaking Freon from the coil, which is causing it to be unable to cool. Unit is 11 years old, and the cost to replace the coil because of its age is not recommended due to it being an expensive part. So we are recommending to replace the unit, and it will be the removal and disposal of the existing 5-ton HVAC condenser and air handler, installation of a new HVAC condenser and air handler, and installation of secondary pans, heat shields, and water safety switches. We have a cost from R&I at $6,500. And we feel that this is a valid expense. This actually was in a prior reserve study for a prior year. It was moving along and working just fine, but it hadn't been replaced, and now it needs to. We consider HVAC emergency projects because obviously you can't work in that building. We do have two other bids besides the R&I that are over the $6,500.
They were more than the 65.
Yes, 7,500 and 9,400.
So,
Rounded.
if I'm understanding this correctly, is you don't feel that First Service should be running a sweatshop there, is that correct?
No.
I don't know why Ma Bell has never complained about the heat in that building. Can I have a motion for the approval of expenditures of $6,500 plus a 10% contingency to replace the air conditioning?
Make the motion for the replacement plus the contingency.
Second?
Also.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Victoria, the motion is passed, and you
Go
can...
to it.
You can get to it, so we don't get complaints from First Service, it's too hot in that building to work, and then they leave.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate you doing all the work on that. I know you have spent months, and for those who don't know, is Victoria basically does a lot of the planning and obtaining of quotes for all the work that is done by the Land Trust within Kings Point. Color schemes, different things like that. When problems come up, such as the air conditioning or such as the cracks in the pickleball court and things like that, Victoria is called upon by Ginger to go out, get contractors, find things. And for those of you who don't know, that's Victoria who sits over there. She does an exceptional job, and it's very much appreciated, Victoria, for all the work you do. You serve the community very well, and in dealing with you, I know one of your main purposes is cost efficiency in dealing with these vendors. So thank you very much for all the work you do, Victoria.
Yes, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
As that being the last item on the agenda, we would open it up for any good and welfare announcements from the floor. Seeing none, I will accept a motion to adjourn the meeting. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting is adjourned.